hello and welcome to Gers TV. It's myself, Si, and we've got Ryan and Gordy. How are we doing, guys?
Fine, mate. Fine, we're here. Looking forward to the night.
The build-up's officially started for the football. How are you looking forward to it? Big one tonight. Get the result tonight, get the result on Saturday, and all that pish we've been moaning about all season all of a sudden disappears.
Aye. I'll let you go first, Gordy.
Yeah, cheers. Just on that, yeah, I mean, as I said previously, I think when we all sat down and talked about the run, Christmas and New Year run, December through to the start of January, I think we all agreed that it was a massive, massive crucial period, and another 2 games to go. If we can get 2 wins in the next 5 days now, we're right slap bang in the title race, which was incredible given the start we had. So the only thing that matters to me is I don't really care how we get the 3 points. Just get the 3 points up the road, and then Saturday takes care of itself.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think for me, size, we're well aware that December and January are the 2 months that basically shape your season. You know, you're usually hopefully involved in the League Cup semi-final, if not final. So it's an opportunity to get a bit of silverware in the trophy early. You're shaping your European campaign as well, because there's a couple of European games in December, obviously the last 2 in January as well. So your aspirations for performing the latter stages of Europe are decided within these 2 months. Naturally, there's an Old Firm game, if not 2, if you're talking about the League Cup final. And there's usually a kind of spooky tie within there as well. Obviously, seen the win away to Tynecastle as well. So they like to get the games that matter on the TV at this time of year as well. So obviously, can get a bigger audience and stuff. So if you came out of January doing a wee bit of business as well, hopefully in the transfer market unscathed and looking good, then it's the 2 most important months of the football calendar for us.
Clean sheets, guys. We spoke about how bad the defence has been so long, but all of a sudden that defence is coming together. We're currently on 6 out of 10. Could we do 7 out of 11 tonight? And I'd be really surprised Sunday. Could we do? I would be 8 out of 12. What's your thoughts on the defence so far?
When you go, Ryan, I'll let you go first.
I mean, it's coming together. I mean, obviously losing Suter and Cornelius, who are probably regarded as the 2 first centre-halves, the first choice centre-halves, we've not looked to it. But I think Fernandes is really coming into his own now, as much as he's got his faults. I think every game that he plays, he starts to build more confidence. I think the more he plays, just the better he's going to get. Sterling coming back for us is massive. Starting to appreciate Jayden McComan's consistency as well, because you know we were left very vulnerable having an 18-year-old untried left back coming in. To truth be told, such a massive club and such a massive situation, but although he hasn't lit the header on fire, I think he's done enough to be consistent more than anything else. So defensively fine. Jack Butland's had obviously a bad game at Tynecastle. He's had a howler for the Shankland goal, but for more than me, he's made up with it because he kept us in the game against Motherwell at the weekend.
He also held his hand up for it, to be fair. Yeah. It's interesting, Ryan, you mentioned Fernandes. I think he's slowly becoming the player. Remember, at one point, that if anybody was putting a bet on, the wee sly bet was the first goal scorer, Tavernier. I think that's Fernandes now. If I was to put a bet on for the weekend, I would say a wee sly one. Fernandes, he seems to be that type of player with set pieces. He's a real danger.
Yep.
Yeah, he's certainly, he's about 8'4", isn't he? So certainly is quite tall, and he jumped up to about 12 feet as well. Yes, I believe he's our second top goal scorer as well now, which is great.
He's also had a couple of goals chopped off as well, remember?
Yeah, that's right. No, I think he was a bit criticised. We weren't really sure what we're getting with him, because he didn't really get played at the start. He was brought in for a fairly large fee from a kind of untried club, and he slowly, as Ryan says, come through the last few weeks and steadily making his mark in the centre defence. Ryan, you touched on it about Dejon Sterling coming back as well. I think he's the kind of leader that we've been missing at times at the back. So it's great to have him back as well. So we were fortuitous in the timing of Sterling coming back, but to have Cornelius and Suter both international defenders out at the same time was a blow, and we were all kind of worried about what was going to happen. But as you said, Si, a minute ago, 6 out of 10 clean sheets is not to be sniffed at, and I believe now we've got the best defensive record in the SPL. Which again is an incredible start when you think about the goals we've lost over the last few months as well.
Well, the last couple of months or the last couple of years, the
Going a bit quiet there. Sorry.
My man.
That's back now.
My man.
There you go, Si. Right.
Aye, perfect. Danny Rose, obviously using a team that he's not got any input in the players so far, but to get the consistency in defence, all credit to Danny. All he's done is made us hard to beat, really.
I think for me, Si, that was probably the thing that I asked when he came in was stop this rubbish, stop the rot that's going on, stop us looking so foolish in defence and stop us losing so many silly goals and being predictable and vulnerable. And I think that's what he's done. He started with the basics. It's stop losing goals and make yourself hard to beat. And all you need to do is nick one goal, and we've done that on a couple of occasions. There's obviously been a couple of bad ones. The 0-0 draw at Falkirk wasn't particularly entertaining. It wasn't particularly a great game, but ultimately, was that a game that earlier on in the season we could have potentially lost because there was some absolute howlers. It's just up to the board now to back him because he steadied the ship and now needs to get the ship moving forward again.
I agree with that, Gordy.
Yeah, it's a good phrase to use. He has steadied the ship. His command, we've obviously risen to third in the league. Yeah, some of the performances haven't been great, but don't get at the end of the day, if you win every game 1-0 the last minute goal, you win the league. Do you know what I mean? So at this moment in time, he's done what he has to. He's done a good job in steadying the ship and making us hard to beat. And if we could just get the attack clicking now, that he's managed to do with the defence, then we've got a good proposition for the rest of the season. But so far he's done well. Defence is a lot steadier, and now the focus hopefully could be on the attacking options we've got because there's something just not quite right yet with our attack.
I mean, it's back to what we said. See if we can just get to January in a fighting position, and then we can start buying. He's almost there. He's got 2 more games to go. The night's game should be winnable. It's more than winnable for us, but let's not kid ourselves. St Mirren will still come to Ibrox tonight, and they'll give it their all. They'll probably have an aggressive centre forward line and probably have a right good go at us. But Suter's back. He's looking a lot fitter over the last couple of weeks since I've seen him. He looked really as if he'd lost a lot of weight the last time he played, and the defence is starting to really show up. So I'm really confident tonight that Rangers can. It doesn't have to be a great show, as one of you said a minute ago. It's really just about getting these 2 games out of the way, and then what a different conversation we're having from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think probably what we've got to realise is this is probably going to be the polar opposite tonight from what we had against Motherwell. Motherwell was a team full of runners. They like to hit you on the break. They like to get forward in numbers. They like to defend the numbers as well and kind of counter presses. Whereas St Mirren, it's basically get the ball forward as quickly as you possibly can and hit these 2 guys, the big guys that they've got up front. And we've got to be aware of that. We've got to make sure we're not leaving ourselves in a one-on-one situation with them. I think you might find they'll actually go back to the back 3 again tonight just to compensate for that, to make sure that we aren't left one-on-one against them.
That's a good thing, is because of the players coming back, we've got those options to do that. I think he'll do that as well, the 3 at the back. He's got the options to do that and change it again if it comes to it.
Yeah.
The problem I think we've got is just putting the ball in the net. That's our biggest problem. We cannot keep missing. And when I say missing, I mean missing goal, not even scoring. We can't even we've got players up front that just can't hit the target.
Yeah, just a wee interesting stats. St Mirren are actually unbeaten in 4 against us, which is a crazy situation. The last 4 games unbeaten against Rangers, which obviously that's what it's all the way about. So they won't have any fear coming tonight to Ibrox at all, and they're just off the back of a great result against Celtic in the League Cup final. So they'll be flying full of confidence, and we've got to be at our best. And as you said, Brian, it's a different game. I think Motherwell actually had more possession with Rangers on Saturday, which is crazy given the fact it's Rangers at home. But we will have the majority of possession tonight, and it's what we do with that is going to really matter.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield battle might be really important. Sorry, on you go, Ryan.
I think being realistic, when you look at the strikers here, Danilo for me is a write-off. Pound for pound, one of the worst signings in the club's history. Between his £6 million transfer fee and his £7.5 million 5-year contract at £30,000 a week, he's pound for pound probably one of the worst signings we've ever made. But if you look at Jermita and you look at Majovski, I would be saying to these 2 guys, you've got 2 games in which to save your Rangers career, and it starts tonight. you know, you've got 2 reasons, you've got 2 games to prove to me why you should be starting centre forward for Rangers. And if you can't cut it against St Mirren at Ibrox, and you can't go away, and I can trust you to go away and do it our biggest rivals, then you've not got a place in my team.
But by the way, see, when you're saying that, you're right, because it could all change. If fans are fickle, see if Chermiti was to get a goal in the next 2 games, he's a hero. People forget the last 6 months. They start going like, this guy's got something in him. He's certainly got ability to upset the defenders and make himself a nuisance, but it's just his final touch is awful. He needs to improve that tonight. That needs to improve.
I think as a fan base side, we're guilty of writing people off very, very quickly. You know, if you know, even people earlier on in the season were questioning Mikey Moore's ability, and you look at him now, that everything creative, everything positive that's coming from the midfield seems to be coming through Moore. And there's people out there saying that he wasn't good enough. Why did we get this guy? Why are we not playing Finlay Curtis and stuff like that? You can see that the quality that Mikey Moore possesses, purely being played out of position. He was getting played in a wide right position, sometimes wide left. His biggest damage is coming through the middle of the park and just giving the freedom to express himself. But if Chermiti does score, like if he gets a goal tonight or he contributes tonight, gets a winner on Saturday, you know, the headline will be welcome to Rangers. You know, that's truth be told of, and he's just got to find that platform. But he's, you know, in the same token, that if he doesn't manage to get himself out of Goggage's pocket tonight, if he doesn't manage to get himself out of Trusty's pocket on Saturday, then really you've not got a place here. And I don't think that's necessarily the transfer fee isn't necessarily the boys' fault. The boys there to play football. But
it was criminal. That was criminal what happened.
Aye, yeah.
But you might find that again, that you might find what's happening in training. He does look like he's going to become a player. He's only 21. We really don't know what's going on there.
I would say in his defence, I mean, there has been a bit of an improvement in his overall performances. The goals aren't exactly flowing. I think he did all right against Motherwell and did all right when he won against Hearts as well. He is going to always be judged with that £8 million transfer fee. As you said, right, it's not his fault he didn't make that up or he didn't have any part in that. But that's what, sadly for him, he is going to be judged against all the time. There has been little bits here and there. You hit yourself, maybe you could do it, but for a striker, it comes down to your goals really, and he has to. I think he scored 3 for us. Is that correct? Either 2 or 3.
2 he scored. One against Kelly, the keeper should have scored, and then the consolation goal at Tynecastle.
I think he got one chopped off. I think he had one chopped off as well.
That's right. So 2 goals, and since the end of August, September. He has been playing fairly regularly, especially in Europe as well. So, I mean, these are the games, as you said, Ryan, for guys like Miovski, Chermiti, even Danilo. If you can't go out at home against teams like St Mirren, Dundee, get a goal or 2, then really, we need to face reality and say they haven't really got a future at the club. But the opportunity is there for them, so I hope they take it.
It's back to what Ryan said. They've got 2 games to realistically cement their place in the Rangers team for next season, because Danny Rowe never bought these guys, and I'm quite sure, and I hope I'm right with this, that he'll have an attacker in line in his mind that he's going to bring in January, already lined up hopefully. And if he does, that attacker will go straight into the team if these guys don't hit the mark in the next 2 games. And why would they? You can't. Danny Rose gave everybody an opportunity. He's even gave young Cameron a chance at the weekend. So I can't really think of a player that's had a fair chance, a fair crack of the whip. Even guys like Dowell came on at the weekend. We don't like him, but nobody can accuse Danny Rowe of not giving him an opportunity. It's whether they take their opportunities when they're on the park.
Yeah. I think he's just got to kind of use his squad as much as he possibly can. So the thing about tonight is, although it's important to win the game, it's also important to come through the game unscathed. Make sure that we're not, you know, if anyone feels any sort of tightness or anything like that, anyone's feeling kind of any sort of fatigue or anything like that, we just get them off the park as quickly as we possibly can. Because, you know, let's be honest, the big one is on Saturday. As much as this game, the biggest game is the next one. But you know, if we go into the game on Saturday without our full strength team, it's just going to make things harder for us. And discipline's going to be massive for us tonight. I'm not wanting to see any Diamandi's silliness, you know, losing the ball and out of frustration, kicking his man. It's just something that's really creeped into his game over the last few months. He's went backwards so much as a football player. I'd be, you know, quite keen to see him moved on in the January window. Even Raskin, I'd be quite happy to see moved on.
Well, the one we're asking is, do you keep him to the World Cup? Hopefully he gets here and get more money on him. I really don't know. I think if you get a good deal from him, I think Rangers would take it, to be fair. Diamondi is one of the guys that flatters to deceive. I don't think he's a bad player, but he doesn't seem suited in the Rangers team, and he does a lot of silly mistakes. See that some of these tackles he's been making recently. You can tell with the officials in Scottish football that they're itching to send Rangers players off, and we're doing silly tackles and silly challenges. So I agree with that 100%. And we've got plenty of midfield players.
Yeah.
What's your thought? Sorry,
I went through a list last night of all the midfielders, and it's crazy. I mean, if you just look at this kind of central attacking options we've got Asgard, Diomande, Mikey Moore, and Bizrami. That's like 4 kind of attacking midfielders whose job should be to link the midfield to the attack. That's just 4 alone in that position. And when Dynamo tries to put them in the team, that's why I believe sometimes they play that position because he wants to give them game time, but he can't slot them into the middle of the park. But I totally agree with Diomande. I think he's had 2.5 years now. I think he's had at Rangers, and I think overall, any player can go through a bit of bad form. That's fine, but over kind of 2.5 years, he's not sure enough for me. And I would go on and say, unfortunately, apart from maybe Barron and Sterling right now, there's very few players that I would actually say for 100% I want at the club next season. Like, it's crazy to think that. But
well, if you're thinking that, and I'm thinking that, and Ryan's probably thinking that, I guarantee you Danny Rowe's thinking that. He came in and he came into this mess. But listen, this mess, we could be title challengers by Saturday night.
That's what makes football. That's what makes football such a great thing to talk about and support. Because in 4 days' time, we could be level with Celtic, theoretically, and 6 points behind Hearts. And 6 points with a team like Hearts, I don't think it's a big gap, to be perfectly honest. So we could end up being slap bang in a title race. The other side of the coin is
incredible, right? And we could do it.
Bad results, we're screwed again. So, but that's why we love football. You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy at times.
So, what's the transfer window opens on the 1st of January?
Yeah.
That right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we'll go for somebody first day? Surely we've got somebody lined up because I think the fans want a big kind of name. Whether there's one in January, I don't know.
For me, it makes sense. I mean, Hearts have obviously started to announce that they're signing players. They've actually started. I think they've announced 1 or maybe even 2 players that they're going to be signing on the 1st of January. So the thing for it is that it creates obviously that bit of excitement and support as well. We all like to see new players coming in. We all like to see that money getting spent, and hopefully upgrades on personnel. It creates that bit of pressure for our opposition because when we signed Aaron Ramsey, as much obviously as the transfer didn't work out, people all over Scotland, other teams in Scotland, signed Aaron Ramsey for Juventus. It's a big name. So, and also in the building as well as, what do you mean we've signed another left back? I'm the left back. Well, you're the left back at the moment, so you better go out there and do a good job tonight, or see that next week you're not going to be the left back. So it puts that competition for places in, and people know that there's people coming in to try and get their jerseys off them.
Aye. No, I mean, I think it's vital that we get a name in. It's got to be somebody that can hit the ground running right enough. Just like the comments here. But what's your thoughts on it, Gordy?
I would like you guys are saying, I'd love to see a couple of new faces in as soon as possible. My only worry is that we seem to have just so many players, especially in midfield, that it's hard to know. It's really, really hard as a club, especially at financial fair play, to have so many players. So I'm hoping we get rid of a few players. It sounds awful to say, it really does. Actively you want Rangers to get rid of. I would be happy if we get rid of 9 or 10 players in this transfer window. The only issue we're going to have with signing players is that what club is going to want to release their best players in the middle of the season without a totally exorbitant fee. The other side of the coin is, do you take a risk and a gamble again on players that maybe aren't starting? The only positive with that would be if there's players that want to get in World Cup squads that are not playing regularly, they might be okay with a move to Rangers. But it's a difficult one because realistically, we're going to have to either pay top dollar for a player in good form or accept a player coming that's maybe not getting played right now for whatever reason. So
for me,
everything really.
I think if we can find a poacher, somebody that can convert these chances into goals is the big one for me now, because we can't. At the weekend, was there a 5-on-1? Am I right with that? I think there was a 5-on-1, but there was definitely a 4-on-1 and a 3-on-1. There's got to be somebody that you can get that can finish. because that's what's costing us. Ultimately, the game should have been finished before there was a controversial incident with the penalty with Motherwell, but the game should have been finished with him.
Goals win games. That's the end of it, and that's why strikers cost so much money, and that's why they're paid so well, because they're the guys that actually put the ball in the net and win the games for you. But like Gordy's saying, it we've got to find somebody out there that's hungry, who's got something to prove, who maybe are on the outskirts of an international squad that does they want to go to North America in the summer. These guys will be coming in with a point to prove, and they're the kind of guys that we want. We don't want guys who are, coming because they're picking up a half decent wage and they're coming for money. We want them to come for footballing reasons, not money reasons.
No, what size of window? So if somebody's coming in, like Gordy said, that it's no regularly played now, and they want to be showcased for the World Cup and being considered, that game on Saturday will be shown throughout the world. So you could automatically go into a massive game and then get your name back in the reckoning. The question is who are they going to go for? I don't think any know who that will be.
I think the market we're in now is like you used to kind of point. I mean, the days of going out and signing guys like Jermaine Defoe, Torrey Andre Flo, like household names for us at this moment in time are probably off the menu, being honest.
I'd like to see us try. I think this Scandinavian market could be a winner for us. There's good players in there. It's difficult because, like, you look at the players. I mean, you look at somebody like let's just say for example, I know it's very hypothetical. We went for somebody like Claudio Braga at Hearts, right, playing really well, in good form. Hearts going to want double his normal asking price. So that's what we've got to navigate this transfer window. And I think there's too many players right now at the club as well. I honestly was thinking about this last night. I can't see you signing too many players, to be perfectly honest. But I think Ryan's right at the top of this section. We need somebody to excite us and to give us just a bit of passion, a bit of hope back for the rest of the season. But I don't, unless we get rid of 4, 5, 6 players, I can't see that many coming in.
I'm of the opinion, right, that I know this is not good business sense, but see some of the players that you're talking about, Gordy, I would just get them off the wage bill. Just get whatever the fee is. Get off the wage bill.
It's awful to even contemplate that, but I think that's what we have to do. I mean, somebody like Danilo, I mean, it's crazy.
It's a call. Just get it.
He's on 30 grand a week, and he's not cutting it. He's not even coming off the bench and offering a single thing. So we maybe say to him, look, we'll give you £1 million. I don't know if he's got 2 years left in his contract. What's that? Let's just say it's £4 million. We say to him, like, there's £2 million, off you go.
See, in 10 years' time, if we were still doing this in 10 years' time, and anybody mentions Danilo, all we'll remember is his dad. That's the unfortunate.
That seems to be his sole qualification for getting a game.
Yeah.
What are we saying, guys? I just need to grab my charger.
Aye, cool.
Right.
That's it. I mean, that's a problem.
I can't even. Sorry, I just want to say, so just to carry on, but what you've made a point in recent weeks about guys like, maybe if it's not Gogic or somebody like Gogic, I was making the point last night that if we could sign 2 or 3 players that maybe aren't the best technical players, but have got that leadership or that presence, like a Gogic, like maybe a couple of young Scottish players, like maybe get Josh Doig on loan for Italy, or maybe bring in David Watson for Kilmarnock, who's out of contract, to get him for maybe £500,000. Apart from that, I can't really see you spending £5, £6, £7 million on a player. So
there's definitely good Scottish players out there. I mean, the hardcore Scottish players in the team. We're probably going to have to pay over the odds, right? Everybody knows we're desperate. However, we've got a £40 million prize pot at the end of that if they win it. If Rangers win the league, they go into the Champions League. Whether we take a doing in it or no, that's for we'll worry about that next season. This is about getting that money that we really need to get. The Americans didn't buy into Rangers to finish second. So it's a gamble that they'll probably have to take, I think. And if I was another Scottish club and I didn't have any sympathy for Rangers, I would be putting the price up. That's just how the market works. This is all down to what happened in the summer. We'll have to basically we've had a real kick in the balls and we're going to have to suffer it. But I think if a player's a bit dearer than it would normally be, we're going to have to buy one. Somebody in Scottish football that's a good player, I think. For an example, Gogic, I think would walk in the Rangers team.
Probably playing with them and against them tonight, but that way.
Aye, certainly, aye. And by the way, and he's the type of player that even if he knew that Rangers had tapped him, right, and he was going to be signing for Rangers in 2 weeks' time or a week's time, he would still come out there the night, no fuck out of us. That's the kind of player he is, and do you know what? That's the type of player that we need. That is exactly what we need.
Remember, John Suter was the man of the match in 2022, the Scottish Cup final. He played against us.
And
it was announced in the January he was signed for us.
We might not like that, but at the same time, that's the type of player that we need. Somebody that opposition players hate.
I just think the recruitment size, like all these luxury players that have come through academies and schools of excellence and stuff like that. You look at like Diamande is a prime example of that. He came from that school of excellence in Africa. I think it's Dare to Dream or something for the academy that got over there. He's then went into Denmark and he's came to us there. Brandon Barker was another example of a guy who came through Man City's academy. Rabbi Matondo came through Man City's academy. All these players that seem to come through luxury avenues to play football don't seem to have the strength and the desire to, get going. And then you look at somebody like Morelos, who obviously came through, a wee bit more of an unorthodox path where he was plucked out to Colombia to obviously go to Finland and stuff like that. Came here with hunger and a desire to actually win football games. And I think a lot of these kind of younger guys are really spoiled in that they just don't have that attitude and aggression, that desire and strength and, need to win football games, especially when they're playing for somebody like us that, truth be told, they don't have an affiliation or a care for. You're right. We're wanting guys that actually want to come and they want to play and actually win things for Rangers. That they might not come at the club supporting the club, but they leave the club supporting the club. Alberts, for example, didn't come as a blue nose, but left as a blue nose. Newman, Bowles, Peter Livingston, all these guys.
The only example of that we've got to know is a young boy Moore, who unfortunately we're not going to be able to keep because he's already spoke about staying another year. They're all saying about don't fall in love with loan players. I think he's going to finish the season in top form with Rangers, and I think he would love another season, mate. But Spurs will probably say no.
They'll have a plan for him. He's going to be an England international at some point in the future. The boy's gifted. He's really got it. Unless something really serious happens or he falls off a cliff, seen it before with Dele Alli down south who came on to a storm and obviously had his problems and stuff like that. So, but the world's his oyster as far as football because I think they'll send him. I think he'll be away out to the continent next year to get a wee bit more kind of European technical experience.
He seems to have his head screwed on as well, but he definitely seems to he appreciates Rangers and what the club stands for, and he's very good in the media. You can see that. That's the thing with the Premiership. See, these young boys have been trained. They've had the media training. He knows how to conduct himself. He knows how to handle. All right, he's saying sound bites and it's things that we all want to hear. But sometimes that's what you want to hear. You want to see the players out there with a bit of passion. But I can't think of anybody bar him to know that I would see that has went into that mould.
Yeah, and rather have Mikey Moore in his press briefings than Matt Ellens coming out and saying he can't play under pressure.
Exactly, aye.
So you're absolutely right there. Yeah,
that one with Max Aaron, sorry, Gordy. Sometimes you're better saying nothing.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. So it's a difficult one to transfer the Giants. I think we all agreed that we need an injection of fresh faces into the team. But I mean, some of the we forget we've got guys like Ben Davies, we've got Cifuentes, Kieran Dowell, Matondo. These are guys that we are still ultimately overall responsible for. So we've got all these guys that we need to get off the books as well. So it's such mismanagement in my opinion, but that's a different story for a different day. But I just hope we get just that bit of excitement, maybe just one kind of exciting signing and then 2 or 3 practical signings. I know it's a horrible phrase to say, but people that can come in and show leadership, show personality, etc. Some nights I've just said Kieran Bowie for Hibs, a wee comment coming in. I think it's too much for him right now.
5 million apparently is the rumour.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Ryan. But unfortunately, right, it's 5 million because they know they'll probably get it. And see if he was playing with us and the opposition wanted him, we would be saying hump the price up. That is unfortunate, but we're going to have to pay something like that, I think. And now the argument is, well, if you're going to pay 8 million for Shermiti and you know this boy's a talent, why would you not pay 5 million for him? Would we pay for Danilo 6 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 6 million for Danilo. The 2 strikers which out in the summer in sign side were Lauren Shanklin and Jamie Vardy. They were the 2. If Eagleman obviously made it well known that he wanted to leave Rangers, and I think Dessers, it was unsettled. I think Dessers had basically had enough. I think he felt as if he couldn't offer any more than what he was given. And I think kind of peer pressure, fan pressure, just kind of seen him out the door. He's always been a bit of a journeyman anyway, Dessers. But if you'd went out and signed Shankland with Vardy as a capable number 2, and then went out and maybe spent £5 million just scattering, just say, right, we picked up a young Brazilian, we're going to sign him for £2 million, but we're actually going to send him back to Brazil, a young Croatian, we've got a Japanese boy, and just scattergun the rest of the money, because you've got 2 guys there, one who's going to come in for free, not be very difficult to deal with, not ask for a lot of money. Vardy would be your kind of big money signing as far as wages are concerned. He's probably going to be asking for about 35 grand a week. But
I think you'd get that money back on shirt sales with a name on the back.
Aye, certainly. And it's, you're sitting there and you're struggling for a goal, like they're coming up to Saturday, and it's 0-0, 5 minutes to play. The manager's he's going to use his last sub, and he turns round, Danilo's sitting there, or Jamie Vardy's sitting there. Who would you rather have?
Yeah, Vardy all day long. So that's exactly what we don't have now. That's what I'm saying about, it's easy for us to sit and say it, right? But what a fuck up that summer was for us. I honestly think we'll still be suffering this summer. The summer past there, we'll still be suffering that in 2 years' time. There's so many players that we need to get rid of.
Yeah, that's the point, mate. And just going back to Jamie Vardy, he's playing in Serie A now, I believe. Cremonese. Aye. So he scored 4 goals, actually, just looking up there. So if he can do that in Serie A with a by-average team, then he could be, he's certainly been a lot more than 2 or 3 that our strikers are on right now. I tell you that, as Shankland would be. But
Shankland was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
there's still Rangers supporters out there that laugh and say Shankland would score goals with Rangers. I actually think you could be a pretty shit football player. See if you can put the ball in the net, you'd score goals with Rangers, innit?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're always going to get chances. Look at the chances we've missed this season, and the chances that Shankland scored this season. Even if he just came in on a free transfer, he scores 15, 20 goals. You're still going to get a couple of £1 million from him if you do sell him on and bring somebody else in. So, no brainer. But that's what it is.
Anyway, guys,
I don't think you could turn around and say that Chris Boyd was the most gifted football player in the world. And obviously, Boyd scored a lot of goals and won a lot of things with us and stuff. I'll be thankful for his contribution. But you can't turn around and say that Boyd was an absolutely fantastic football player. He's great in and around the box and great feet, fast and stuff like that. He was a goal scorer and nothing but a goal scorer.
And I think that's what we sadly need now. I mean, that chance that Shermiti go, I don't want to be saying what I'm picking on him. That chance that he go at the weekend where the ball, I think it was Gassama.
He just fell over it.
You cannot train. There is no training in the world can train for that. And actually, really see people had kicked it over
Sorry, Si, you seem to be a bit.
I think your mic's going again, Si. Swap the mic's over again, mate.
Aye, the overhead kick that he done. The overhead kick that he done. That he was just trying to add to. That's a problem. Desperate to do anybody that actually basically does a first round and puts the ball in the grass.
Sorry, Si, I don't think you're coming through.
Right, okay, guys. Well, I'll let you carry on now. Can you hear me all right at all?
That's better now.
Aye, but anyway, we just need a poacher. That's what I was trying to say. Long story short.
Predictions for tonight?
I think Rangers will get a clean sheet. I don't think it'll be a great game, and I'll go for 1-0 to Rangers. Fernandes, header.
Classic. Fair enough, yeah. 2-1. Gogic is going to score for your corner. There you go, Si, your hero. He's going to lay one on us, but we're going to win 2-1. That's what I put on the website today. So 2-1 Rangers. I couldn't even tell you who's going to score. Fuck it. Diomande to score and Shermiti to score. There you go.
Fernandes is my default. Fernandes is my default answer at the end of the season.
Diomande and Shermiti to score. Prove me wrong.
A couple of people mentioned comments. Ryan, what you saying, mate?
I'm going 2-0, guys.
Aye, 2-0. So I will get a win. That's the main thing. Any more comments coming at the end here? Listen, if we win every game until the end of the season playing rubbish football, of course that's exactly it. We just want to get that title in the bag. Anyway, guys, enjoy the match. Wherever you're watching it, if you're going to the game or whatever. Couple of predictions are coming in, but we'll try and get another live by the end of the week, and we're going to be involved in a big documentary with a massive channel by the end of the week as well, but we'll give you more information on that, and we'll also be live at both of the tributes for the Ibrox disaster, the fan tribute and the one from Rangers Football Club in the morning as well. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Have a good night and enjoy the match.
Enjoy the match. See you all later. Bye.
We are